Hey, you're listening to Don't Mix In. I'm Dr. Vivian Rodriguez, an educational psychologist, blogger, educator, and coach who loves to talk about style, life, creating, and mental health. Okay, so I started this podcast to create a space to talk about style and substance, to talk about the complexities of being a woman who's authentic and thriving. All right, let's get into it. All right, this episode is going to be all about what to look for when you're getting a personal trainer. Okay, so I started with a trainer like in January of 2022, and it's been life-changing. I feel fantastic, and I'm just so happy I made that decision. So the person who is partially responsible for getting my trainer is Daniel Bernal. He's our guest today. He is who referred me to the trainer I have now. And we're just going to get to have a fun little chat talking about his insights, what to look for in a trainer, and a bit about his story. And so it's a good one. Okay, let's go ahead and listen in. Don't Mix In listeners, I'm back to talk to you about Anchor. This is still my tried and true podcast editing and recording platform. Let me tell you why. Okay, so first of all, it's free, but on top of that, you know what? You can edit and record and distribute from this platform anywhere, on your phone or on your desktop. So if you don't have time to be on your desktop, you can just record from your phone and then distribute. So go ahead and download the Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. So you like Amazon, but you don't know what styles to get? Go ahead and check out my Amazon Live. I'm an A-list creator, which means I do a lot of lives and people like them. So go ahead and head over to the show notes for this episode to go and join the live. And don't forget to follow me on Amazon. And then keep in mind, as an Amazon associate, I do earn from qualified purchases, and all opinions are my own. And I'll see you guys around. Hey, I know you guys do not have a ton of time to just be scrolling through social media. You got better things to do, right? So that's why I revamped and relaunched my Fave Finds newsletter. And what I did is, it's kind of in case you missed it. So I scour through the internet to find some styles for midsize and curves. And I also add just some different podcast episodes or books that I'm into lately, just some good stuff for your email inbox. So go ahead and head over to the show notes for this episode to sign up for my Fave Finds. And don't worry, I'm not going to spam your email inbox. It'll be some good stuff. All right, everyone. So we're back with another episode. I'm so excited. This is a really special episode because we have a guest that I think is going to provide a lot of value for a lot of you out there. And we're going to be talking about getting a personal trainer. So we have Daniel Bernal. He is a personal trainer, certified, and also an entrepreneur. So we're just going to ask some questions. It's kind of like the FAQs that I get since I started with a trainer about 7 months ago. All right. Welcome, Daniel, to the podcast.
Hello. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you.
Out with whatever knowledge and value I can provide.
Perfect. Yeah, we're glad to have you. Okay. So first off, tell us a little bit about yourself and your story and how you became a trainer.
Yeah, I mean, I've been training now for about 13, 14 years or so. Basically, since I was a young kid, I was always into sports. My dad and mom always putting me in all the seasonal sport, and basically got, decently okay at football. Ended up playing that primarily through high school and got to play college football. And, it's great. And then once I got done with college football, I got into the real world and got a regular, desk job and, just trying to make ends meet and whatnot. And kind of lost the motivation to I actually stopped working out, I would probably say, for about a year.
Oh.
And I think that was because I just lost motivation. I feel like playing sports my whole life, that was my motivation to work out. And once that was gone, I felt like, what was the point? Like, what's the point of working out? And so from there, I think I first started getting back into the gym just for fun, not really any direction. And then I don't know. Finally, I was just like something clicked where I'm like, I gained maybe like 15 pounds. I kind of had to like tight back from the desk, and I just
Mhm.
started working out, and then slowly but surely kind of got into a groove again. From there, some friends they kind of wanted me to start training them. We probably had like a group of four guys working out with us. Just some kids at the gym, and they seemed to really enjoy my workouts. And then before I knew it, another uh, these girls I knew from high school, they wanted me to train them. They're like, "Hey, Daniel,
Mm.
like, can you like get us into shape? We like gained our college 10 or whatever, college 15." And I was like, "Sure." So I just trained them. Didn't really know exactly what I was doing in terms of training. I knew how to work out, and then from there, I was like, "Hey, this is actually kind of fun. I'm not bad at it, so let's check out this whole personal training gig." Yeah,
So
that's
then you, from that point, started to pursue to get like certification, or kind of what did
yeah,
you do
yeah,
at that point?
exactly. Pretty much, I looked into what it takes to be a personal trainer, and actually started talking to a manager at 24 Hour Fitness first. His name was Rashawn, actually, and then he ended up being my first manager. That's where I got my first job. But I had talked to him, Rashawn, and he was telling me, yeah, get your certification, da 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 da. And I felt like he, I was probably like 23. I feel like he didn't really, he kind of said it, but he's like, oh, he's this kid. He probably gets it a lot. Like, I want to be a trainer.
Hmm.
And yeah, he basically pointed me in the right direction. I ended up getting my NASM certification, just one of the many certifications you can get to be a personal trainer. And yeah, I came back a few months. I was like, hey man, like, I got my certification. He was like, oh, wow, nice. He was a little surprised, but he's like, cool. And I was like, actually at the time I didn't even have a car. I was getting a ride to work with my friend, you know, uh, from there. So, we were struggling a little bit, but we're getting by. And then
Hmm.
I was like, hey, Rashawn, I'm gonna like save up for a car. Don't worry, I'm gonna be here. Like I'm trying to work here, and slowly but surely got that money saved for the car, bought that, and then I was like, Rashawn, I'm back, man. He's like, oh, what? Kid's kind of got a little fire. So from there, I just got hired at 24 Hour Fitness, and yeah, Rashawn was basically he ended up being a real good guy to me. I feel like he was a very good first manager. Kind of taught me the ropes of how to deal with clients in terms of programming. Um, you
Okay.
know, that personable aspect of it, really getting to know the client. Letting them know that you're trying to understand what their goals are, where they're coming from, and
Hmm.
and also the administrative side. From there, I ended up working at 24 Hour Fitness for about 3 years. Ended up being a fitness manager there, and by the time I got that fitness manager role, it was just like I had met a few of my clients were some entrepreneur type of guys, packaging business, they're different types of businesses, but they ended up kind of being also a nice big influence on me, and they were the ones who kind of got me to start my own thing.
Okay.
And yeah, it ended up being a great decision because running your own business and having your own thing. I mean, it's a lot more pressure, but it's a lot more fun. It kind of gets you to care about everything a little bit more. So I ended up moving out uh, to Fitness 100, a private gym, and I've been there ever since. And probably about 2 years ago, I ended up buying into the gym. So now I co-own the gym
Hmm.
and personal train there. And it's fantastic. That's where I met Vivian.
Yeah. Well, and so for the listeners, so Daniel is my husband's trainer. So he's been training him for years. And so, yeah, so you referred me to my trainer that I started in January because I was like, okay, I think what I'm doing is not enough. I just need like a little bit more structure. Um, and so you referring me to my trainer, you kind of like, I guess, knew, or I don't know if it was luck or whatever, but she's been a great match for me. I feel like it's been life changing and she's awesome, Amanda.
Nice.
So, what should someone who is a novice at the gym be looking for when considering getting a trainer? Because I know that you also hire trainers. You guys get trainers to be part of the gym there,
Yeah.
so kind of like what should people be looking for and what do you look for?
It could be tricky. I mean, first thing first is usually it's like, oh, you want your trainer to be in good shape, which isn't necessarily always true. Um,
Mm.
Especially depending on what you're doing. Like say if it's a sports coach, he may be a retired coach. He don't really work out, but his knowledge is vast. So same thing with the personal trainer. If you're just trying to get healthy, lose weight, whatever, it doesn't necessarily have to mean like the trainer reflects your goals, but it does help. That they
Mm.
probably take good care of themselves, things like that. That's all surface level stuff. And then from there, I don't know. I feel like it's the same thing you would meet if you were trying to just do any business with somebody. Does this person care about like your goals, and is it going to be a mutual beneficial relationship?
Mhm.
Are they there for you? Are they there? Are they just trying to make some money? So I feel like like it's going to come to you when you meet them in face to face. So I would probably say don't be afraid to maybe go have some consultations with maybe three trainers,
Okay.
and then from there you can kind of pick and choose what fits your style of personality, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with this person. So, um, well, hopefully, if you're
Right.
consistent. But
That's the plan.
yeah, so I would probably say that, and then also the gym atmosphere. Generally, I feel the gym kind of takes, or the trainers take on like the gym's atmosphere. So a lot, if one trainer is going to be very similar to another trainer in the same gym, especially in private gyms, which is a little bit more intimate. So I
Mhm.
feel like at Fitness 100, we're all great trainers, and we all kind of like rub off on each other, and we're all, I would say we're all different personality wise, but at the same time, we kind of have that same vibe. So
Mhm.
just kind of shop around gyms, trainers, things like that. When it came to Amanda, I feel like, yeah, I didn't know you. I knew Josh, and I was like, Amanda's pretty cool girl. So I felt like, oh, Vivian seems nice. Josh is, super cool. Obviously, me and him been friends for a while now, and
Mhm.
yeah, so I'm glad that worked out.
Yeah, and I really like the point you made about that it doesn't the trainer doesn't have to like embody your goals or reflect your goals, because some people will focus on that surface level and be like, well, what do they look like or what are they doing? Where,
Hmm.
like you said, the knowledge is really important. Especially, I
Hmm.
feel like you know, Amanda's always kind of also making sure I'm being safe, not doing
Hmm.
crazy stuff, like trying to, you know what I mean, like get injured or whatever.
Definitely.
Um, so she had mentioned too, like just making sure that they're not trying to just make money or quick fix, and that they really want you to have like long term progress. So yeah, that's another good point. That like, yeah, just the way they look isn't going to be necessarily, it doesn't mean that they're going to be better or worse. You just
Hmm.
need to kind of get to know them. I was reading about like what makes an exceptional trainer, and they were also saying, the article was saying like making sure you're a good listener and being patient, and understanding what your client needs. Like, I mean, do you agree with that? Like, because you said like spending a lot of time with these people, that these clients, that you have to be a good listener and patient, kind of balance, right?
Well,
Like,
definitely.
yeah.
I feel like patience is is super key. Patience is key for sure, and I would think of myself as a patient person, and I feel like the job teaches you to become more patient. So for
Mm,
sure,
mm-hmm,
patience is key, obviously, because not everyone is going to learn at the same pace. Not everyone is going to, take to the workouts at the same pace. So I feel like patience, being patient with the person and understanding, be patient with whatever, problems, may come from that relationship or their goals or whatever. And also, uh, yeah, being a good listener for sure. As a trainer, um, the sessions, they do feel like, like we're working out, we have a great goal, but especially one-on-one sessions, I feel like, there's a lot of conversation that goes into the session as well. And
mm-hmm,
sometimes, you can get caught up in maybe something that you're doing, or, something, a little self-centered or whatever about your goal. And it's like, oh man, this isn't like your time. Like you got to listen to this person, that like you're here to help them right now. So,
mm,
let's listen to what they have to say, since they're their story today, like, and,
mm-hmm.
as a trainer too, especially if you're working long hours, but it kind of goes for any job, I would think. Like you're there, and it's like, oh man, like I'm over here like trying to help like 8 people, 9 people a day listen to their story, like where it's
Mhm.
Daniel's time, it's gonna listen to me. But there's a time and a place for that. So for sure, being a good listener and just trying to improve
Mhm.
on that, and just remember like why you're there with that client at that time, being real present.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because the culture of the gym is like really mellow, but and there's some conversation going on, but then it's like, okay, let's get back to it.
Hmm.
I don't talk as much because I'm like, whoa, with whatever we're doing.
Yeah,
So a
yeah,
lot of
that,
times,
that too. You shouldn't be talking too much after we work.
yeah. Or I'll be like, why isn't anyone else like panting? Everyone else like here like, around me right now is like a spa day, and I'm the only one going, oh, yeah. So yeah, I'm not chatting as much, but I could see people doing that, and you're just like, okay, this is I guess a more talkative day than other days, but
Yeah,
whatever.
and also like not listen to their just their days, but also like like listen to them, like, oh, are they tired? Do they need more rest? Like listen,
Yeah.
are they enjoying the workout? Because some people won't necessarily tell you straight up
Hmm.
like what's good and what's bad, so you got to kind of listen for those cues as well.
Yeah, yeah. So no, everybody's body is different, but like if people follow a plan that you craft, how soon could they see results? I mean, I know everybody varies, but I know that's a question that people would want to know, like
Of course.
over time, what has been like your average if someone's pretty consistent?
Yeah, I mean, the golden rule that I kind of go off is no matter where you are in your you know life, I would say that with a pretty like well designed plan, you should start to feel different
Mm-hmm.
probably about 3 weeks after doing some type of workout, something like that. I would say you
Mm-hmm.
can feel different in about 3 weeks, and then about after a month, you should start to see, a month and a half, you should start to see small difference. Someone will notice something small, something like that. And, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I do train older and younger people, so obviously the rate of change is going to be different, but I would probably say around a month, you should at least feel different. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mhm. And that's not too bad. I feel like, I don't know, some people want results in a week and like, what is your problem? That's not realistic.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Like
that's fine.
they want that. Like what is it gonna take to get me there now? And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
hey, like, if that was possible, wouldn't everyone be in shape? I mean,
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's not, I thought you would say longer, but that seems about right. I know people have asked me
hmm.
like, how long did you feel like really sore?
Hmm.
So I think like about the first month, but I was going just once a week. I was like, whoa, after,
Exactly. Yeah,
and then
I
it went
mean,
away. Then it went away, but it was kind of, I mean, I don't know. I think Josh thought it was funny because I was always like, oh my God, but I was
yeah,
sleeping better. You start to see like, I think some, uh, like quality of life differences within those 3 weeks. Like, yeah, you sleep better, have more energy, and yeah, I could tell like it was making a difference. But yeah, that first month was a little rough ride for a minute, but not too bad. I just had to know I wasn't going to go like run a marathon right after, do something like
exactly.
that.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
I'm not talking about your full body transformation. Just like when can you start to see? Because once you do get that first motivation, like that first little change, that's what kind of
Mhm.
sparks the next step of motivation. I feel so. Just try to get through that first month, people, and maybe you
Right.
can kind of experience the longer effects of fitness.
Yeah. So, okay, now you mentioned this. You've trained a wide range of people, young and old, and varying fitness levels. Like I've seen when I'm at the gym with Amanda, like you have not just like the same like type of client. So, what has surprised you as a trainer? Like that you're like, oh, when you first started, maybe thought this will be the way this will go, and then as you gotten to know clients, that you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like something that was just not something expected in terms of your just experience of training the range of people.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely, I mean, I train, like I was saying earlier, kids as young as 10, generally train them for sports. And I've trained the oldest
Mhm.
person I've trained, I think, is like around 83-year-old gentleman named
Oh,
Domingo.
okay.
Yeah. And, he's just obviously trying to be as healthy as possible for as long as possible. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you know, I would say I get surprised all the time by how much improvement can come from, older people like so late in their life, like just never
Mhm.
worked out, start at 70 and then just be like, wow, this person, they went from being super stiff or like couldn't really move around, not too mobile to like, wow, it's like fully functional
Mhm.
person, and
Mhm.
that's a big deal. And I would probably say like, that's another thing that probably surprised me was, growing up in sports and stuff, I felt like out training athletes, I want to train athletes and like,
Mhm.
I like, to see them excel in their sport because it was just so relatable for me. But once I started training some older people, probably around, I would say like, 60 and above, kind of like hearing their stories about their like wins, like, oh, I went up the stairs today and I didn't even think
Yeah.
about it. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Like, I never really
Mhm.
see myself getting hyped about someone going upstairs without thinking. But like, when you
Mhm.
see that before and after of like their attitude about it and everything, I felt like that was pretty surprising just to me, like how hyped I was over these people like using fitness to like get better at real life. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
like their quality of life has improved and you were a big part of that.
Yeah.
So that's
Me being
really
a part of
cool.
it and just like, yeah, I don't know, like kind of how we take those things for granted
Yeah.
as people. We're just moving through our day, and it's like, man, one day if we're not careful, we're not gonna be able to do that, or we're not gonna be able to like go up that step, or we're not gonna be able to like go kayaking or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you get surprised every day. I feel like just seeing people's motivations. I feel like uh, just the fact that whatever somebody's goal is or what their motivation is, it can be like, I'm getting ready for my marriage, or like I'm getting ready to play
Mhm.
baseball, or I'm getting ready for my trip to Cabo, or whatever it is. I feel like the same, like the magnitude of motivation can be just as high from, being something as trivial as like, uh I'm going to Coachella in a couple weeks, or
Mhm.
I'm getting married, or I need to do this so I can live longer. Like
Mhm.
the motivation could be a 10 out of 10 for any of those. So that was kind of surprising to me, seeing these people work so hard for like all these different reasons.
Right, right. And then after it comes, you're like, okay, now what?
Yeah, exactly.
Now you got to keep it up.
Exactly, exactly. It's like you got to be
Um,
part of your life.
mhm. And then, okay, so finally, as we kind of wrap up, if there's one thing that you would tell somebody who is really hesitant about getting a trainer, what would that be?
I mean, yeah, it could be like a nerve wracking experience. You're going, you're asking for help, which is already kind of hard,
Hmm.
to do it for anything, to admit you need like some assistance, but it's not a bad thing, and you seeking it is empowering, yeah, I'd say that would be the first step, is just kind of getting over that fact, and then from there just try it out. I don't know. It's like I feel like people are generally pretty nervous when I meet them, and I always ask them
Hmm.
that. I'm like, "Hey, are you nervous?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm definitely nervous. I was scared to come today." And they're nervous.
Oh.
It's partly because if you haven't worked out, you're like, "How's this gonna feel? Like, is it gonna be painful?"
Hmm.
Which, it could be a little painful at times, but you getting a trainer is gonna make the process so much easier and so much more efficient. I feel like
Hmm.
it's it's going to help you get to where you want to be in terms of your fitness and health so much smoother. And it's about finding the right one too. Like we talked about the steps of, trying to find the right trainer and just going through the process, and just I would probably even don't go with the expect, I wouldn't say go in there thinking that you're going in there for the rest of your life. Training,
Hmm.
could last years. I've had clients last years, but what I try to tell people is like, just get through the first month. Like, don't think about like, training does have to, working out does have to be, part of your life, but don't think about next month how I'm going to be having to work out for years. Just think about, let's get through this first day, and then let's think about, let's get through this first week of workout, and
Hmm.
from there, let's get through this first month. And once you've been through the first month, it's going to feel so much better. So I would say just
Hmm.
think about it one step at a time, and don't try to like see the whole mountain of fitness in front of you. Like, let's just, start the journey, and seeking a trainer is going to make that process easier. And, finding the right trainer could potentially be life changing.
Yeah, that's the perfect like button to end our episode. Yeah,
Nice.
I love it. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so if you're looking to find me, I'm on Instagram at daniel.j.bernal.
Okay.
And if you wanted to find me on the internet and on my website, you can find me at dbernaltraining.com.
All
And
right.
from there, yeah, go ahead and
And
contact me.
yeah, and on your site you have like different training session packages and your kind of your background and all that too. So and I understand during the pandemic you did some online training as
Yes,
well.
yes. So
Okay.
now you can find my in-person training and all those
Hmm.
packages of training on my website. And I do online training now, which I'm going to be launching an app very soon here in the near future, where I'll
Oh,
be doing all
cool.
my online training now. So if you're interested in getting some fitness guidance and not able to make it in person or don't live near me, you can go ahead and contact me for that in the near future.
All right. So I'm going to put all this good stuff in the show notes for everybody so they can go and check it out. Well, thank you so much for being on the Don't Mix In podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yes. All right. So there you have it. Now you are ready to go ahead and check out getting a trainer. I think, like what he said, just do some consults, see who's a good match. And I don't think it's a decision you'll regret. Like what you're hearing? Go ahead and subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. You can also share the podcast on Instagram and tag me at Live by Viv. As far as my music, it's The Croft by Joachim Karud. And everything we talked about in this episode can be found in the show notes on livebyviv.com. Okay, and remember, don't mix in because you don't need to.